Hi, I'm James Harbeck. This is a word review. Today's word, professional. Stand back. I'm a professional. If you want something done right, you ask a professional. It's good to know a professional person, you know? And a professional person uses professional things. Professional camera equipment, professional kitchen equipment, professional lawn equipment, professional spray bottles, I don't know. Professional comes to us from a Latin root, the same root that gives us confessional, profess, confess. The root is pro, for, plus fatere, or fitere, profitere. Now that sounds like profit, doesn't it? Profiteering. Could a professional be a profiteer? Well, perhaps, but it's just a coincidence. Profit comes from the same root that gives us perfect and defect. It's a different root. Pity, because it would be a nice coincidence. A professional, right? It's somebody who finds defects, makes them perfect, and makes a profit while doing it. And yet, originally, professionals were not people concerned with profits. They were people concerned with profits. They were people who had made a profession of faith and said, this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is what I commit to. They were priests, monks, nuns, people who had taken holy orders. And from that, because a profession is something you do, but it is also something you proclaim and teach, we got teachers. To be precise, professors. A professor is a professional, right? Only we don't call professors professionals much anymore, do we? It's a funny thing. A professional now is, in fact, somebody we think of as a problem solver, a person who has the right skills and finds the defects and makes it all perfect and makes a profit. Oh, such a nice coincidence. We think of a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, a plumber. If you want something right, you ask a professional. You don't fix it yourself if you want professional results. I'm a professional editor. I fix words. I find the defects. I make it. A professional editor knows there's no such thing as absolute perfect. There is no one perfect. You are very pragmatic as a professional editor. You are looking to make things as effective as possible for your audience. But if you are making money, if you are good enough to make a living at it, if you're producing quality results that keep people paying you to do it, you are a professional editor, even though there's no professional degree, there's no doctorate in editing. Now there is a certified professional editor certification you can get from Editors Canada, but many professional editors don't have that, and they're still quite good. There are other professional editors who have hung out their shingle and said, hey, I'm a professional editor, pay me, but they're not actually very good. All we can hope is that people will notice that and will stop paying them and they will go find something else to do. You can also have a CPE, Certified Professional Editor designation. You can have achieved that and then decided that you don't want to make money as an editor after all. And then you become something less stressful, like airline pilot. And then you're a professional pilot, but you're not a professional editor if you're not making money, right? Making money seems, for a lot of things, to be the crux of professional. When I was somewhat younger, I wanted to be a professional actor. And our professional actor does not have a professional designation. There's no accreditation. There's nothing like that. You can join Actors Equity or ACTRA in Canada, the two big actors' unions, but you can make money without being a member of them. It's just very difficult to do it for very long. And you can be a member of them without actually making money. the big thing for being a professional actor is you're making a living at it, or more or less. Anyway, you could still be doing other things on the side. But if you're acting and acting and acting and you're pretty much not getting paid well, you're not a professional actor. You're an amateur, sorry. You know what? I was never a professional actor. I was an amateur for quite a long time. Amateurs in theater, actors, technicians, stage managers, really, really like the word professional. They find it very handy. And when I say handy, I mean like a hand that you use to slap people with. Oh, well, that's not very professional, you know. Well, the professional thing to do here would be, oh yeah, well, if we were professionals, we would be... The funny thing is, in theater, a good way to recognize somebody who's not a professional is that they keep talking about what would be professional to do. The professionals just do it. They go, they get the work, they perform as expected. If they aren't reliable, if they can't do good work, if they don't show up on time, well, then they stop getting paid to do it and they aren't professionals anymore. Before I wanted to be a professional actor, I even thought about being a professional photographer. I was smart enough to realize that this was not really a great thing to go into. It's a difficult line of work. Even at that time, it was hard to be a professional photographer. Now, it's much harder. It's not that you have to spend more on equipment. Oh no, not at all. It's just that it's so easy for publications to get photographs without paying for them. If you're a newspaper or magazine or especially website and you see a great photo of something on Twitter or Flickr, you can say, hey, we like that photo. We'll publish it if you let us and we'll give you credit. The exposure would be great. Well, to a professional photographer, one who does it for a living, exposure is what happens when you press the shutter button. You make an exposure. Also, any Canadian knows that you can die of exposure in winter. And let me tell you, winter is coming really soon if people don't pay you for the thing that you're doing to make a living. So fundamentally, professional photography is photography that pays. Many people think that professional photographers use professional photography equipment and that there's a difference between professional equipment and non-professional equipment. There used to be a reasonably defensible difference between professional and non-professional equipment. But now have a look. Here's a camera. Here's another camera. Which of these is a professional camera? And which of these has a professional lens on it? I will tell you that if I go to, say, a figure skating competition, or if I go take pictures in a city park someplace where you would have to pay for a permit for a professional activity, nobody is going to take note of this. But many people will take note of this. I will get chased out of the skating arena if I have this and I haven't paid for a permit. But let me tell you something. This lens is much better than this lens. This is an autofocus lens, and it is a well-made autofocus lens. And if I happen to be in the right place at the right time and I see the right thing happening, I just pick this up, frame it, click, boom, I've got the photo. This one is a manual focus lens. Am I going to get the shot? Ooh, missed it. Also, it's not a very well-made lens. Sorry to say it. It's not bad, but it's not nearly as good as this lens, for which I paid 50 times as much as I paid for this lens. Admittedly, I bought this new and I bought this used. But you can't tell professional photography equipment by looking at it. Sorry, any camera you buy these days that's on the market can produce results good enough for publication in a magazine. This, my iPhone. I can take pictures with this camera that I can make billboards with You don't think so? I walked past a building-sized billboard yesterday, shot on the iPhone. If I happen to be at the International Film Festival here in Toronto, and I stop by a stage door and I see a famous person coming out with some other famous person that we didn't think they would be with, and I pick it up and I frame it just right and catch the instant right on, and I can find somebody who will pay me for it, then this is a professional camera. On the other hand, no matter how good and huge your camera is, if you're not using it to make money, it's not a professional camera. If you have tons of money and you buy yourself a really nice piece of equipment because you like equipment, you pay $50,000 for a Hasselblad, and you just use it for fun, that's not a professional camera if you're not making money with it. In photography, it all comes down to rights, and rights involve money. Professional means profits. No profits, no threat to somebody else's profits, not professional. Most people don't seem to be aware of that distinction. Well, I wonder why. You see, everything can be professional these days, it seems, if it's good enough or if people want you to think it's good enough. I went into Canadian Tire yesterday. I wanted to buy a mop bucket, just an amateur mop bucket. I'm not a professional mopper, and I didn't need it to do professional mop duties. I just needed to catch a drip in my shower. While I was there, I looked across the aisle and I saw vacuum cleaners. Ooh, a nice professional vacuum cleaner. Was it a big Swish vacuum cleaner? Shop canister like we used to use in the theaters? Huge wet dry vac? No, it was a handheld thing. Didn't really seem all that impressive, but it's professional. I walked further down the aisle, and there were spray bottles, and they were of different qualities. I was particularly struck by the professional spray bottles. Ooh, very nice. Professional spray bottles. If I ever want to be a professional sprayer, I'll be sure to use those. I went into the kitchen equipment, and there were blenders, including a professional blender. I suppose that it was a strong enough blender with a powerful enough engine that if I wanted to blend a professional in it, piece by piece, I probably could. And there were professional knives. Beautiful, shiny, stainless steel set, lovely knives. I'm pretty sure you would not see them in a restaurant kitchen. If you go to a kitchen supply store for restaurants, professional kitchens, the knives they use there have excellent, well-made blades, but they have the ugliest, bright-colored plastic handles you can even imagine. Why would that be? I'll tell you why. Because if you're in a restaurant kitchen and they have a lot of knives going around, first you want to be able to know which knife is used for meat and which one for vegetables, so you have different color handles. And you want to put them in the dishwasher over and over and over and over again, so they're plastic. So those professional knives you buy that look really nice probably wouldn't be used by professionals because they aren't useful for the things professionals use them for. Professional, therefore, has become a term that means profitable. And while it can mean more things than that, while it can mean professional quality work, work that people will pay you for, when you see it applied to a thing, or when you see it applied loosely to people, it's not really all that meaningful. It's more a way of extracting profits. So, professional. My review of this word, overused. My rating of this word, 3 out of 10. Has some value, but I would be extremely skeptical of it. I would take a second look. I would consider carefully whether it's being used appropriately. And that's my professional opinion. I'm James Harbeck. This has been a Word Review.